Okay, so we're going to start on the flat braid join now, which is a crochet join, and it's a more decorative join than, say, the slip stitch, the single crochet methods that we've done in past weeks, all of which are on the playlist. If you click on the icon there for the group, you'll see the playlists on that next page. Okay, so for this you will need obviously your squares or whatever you're joining, squares, blocks, and then you'll need a hook. Ideally the same hook size as you used on your original piece of work will work well, and some yarn of the same weight that you've used as well will work much better. And again, I'm just using a contrasting colour so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing nice and easily. You can choose to use the same colour. If your squares are all the same colour, you can choose to use that colour, or you can just use a contrasting yarn, whatever you choose to do. Obviously a contrasting yarn will make more of a feature of it. So let's get started on this. So normally we would take two squares and pop them together and we would join it that way. But for this join, we want to take just one square to start with. Okay, so first of all, I've got a nice long tail on my slip stitch for sewing in at the end, because we are going to be doing chains along this side, so it won't be possible to work over it because it'll just be like this long line at the end. So I'm going to leave a nice long tail to sew in at the end, and then you want to go into your corner, whether it's a corner space or a corner stitch, go into that corner. Excuse me. So if you had stitches in the corner, then you would go into the center stitch of your corner, okay, and then into that space or stitch you want to do a single crochet, chain 3, and a single crochet and chain 3. And then along this side, what you're going to do is skip a stitch and then do a single crochet in the next stitch. And I'm going to tell you, this granny square, this is the basic granny square, and what I've got is 3 double crochets in each set. So there, obviously there's 3 stitches there, and then I've got a chain in between. So I'm going to count this chain as a stitch. Okay, so I've got 3 stitches in each sort of cluster, and then I'm going to count each space as 1 stitch. Okay, so that's how you can work it along if you've got chains. If there was 2 chains, I would count it as 2 stitches. Okay, so we're going to skip a stitch and then do a single crochet in the next stitch, and then chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next. Now I could have gone through into the actual chain or into the space, but I've just decided to go into the space. Okay, and then chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next, chain 3, skip, single crochet in the next, and continue this all the way to the end of your square. What's going on here then? There we go. Okay, so single crochet, chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet, chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet. Okay, all the way to the end, including that next corner. Now it's nearly at the corner. So just so happens that skipping a stitch takes me to the corner, so we're going to do single crochet, chain 3, and another single crochet and chain 3 in that corner. Okay, so each corner has single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, I apologise if I went off camera there. I just looked and I was a bit out of shot, so I apologise if I was off camera for a few moments there. Okay, so that is your first side. Okay, now this join is one that you can do continuously. You can do your whole blanket without fastening off. It does mean that obviously if you're making a big blanket, it will become big and heavy, and you will have to kind of work out how you're going to hold that and take the weight of it. And some of you might find that a bit more difficult, in which case you can sort of do it in stages, and sort of make your strips or blocks and then join smaller blocks to bigger to make bigger blocks, whichever you find easiest. Now, but as I said, you can do it as one continuous square. There is a very, very helpful diagram in the pattern, the written pattern, which is in the Facebook group. There's a link below in that description box to the Facebook group. If you join that Facebook group, you will be able to get the pattern from there. And there is a very, very helpful diagram there, which I will actually put up on screen in a moment to show you, if you want to take a screenshot of how you would join your squares together, the order that you would do your sides in. That probably sounds very confusing right now, but as I go on to explain more, it will become clear as to what that means. So later on in the video, I will make sure, or try and make sure that I pop that picture up, so you can see the way that you join, and there are arrows, and it's quite helpful, that diagram. Okay, so what we're going to do next, this does take a lot longer, this particular join, because you are effectively, you're making decorative edges which then get joined together. So it does take a bit longer, but it does look lovely when you've done it. So what we need to do next is to work along this second side. Okay, so we're going to do the second side in exactly the same way as we did this side, by doing, we've got our first chain 3, and then you're going to skip the next stitch and then do a single crochet in the next. Okay, chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next. So you're going to do that all the way to the end, only this time in the last corner. So this is our third third corner. You're just going to do single crochet and chain 3. Okay, so do the same steps along, and then in this last corner just do single crochet and chain 3. Okay, so what we're going to do when we've done that second side and we've finished in our third corner with that single crochet and chain 3, what we're going to do is take our next square. So we're making strips to start with. Okay, so we're going to make our first strip. Your strip can be as long as you like, but we're going to make a strip. So take your next square. So I've got my blue square here, so you can see I've got a bit of a red, white and blue theme going on. So what you want to do is in the first corner of this square, so you want this right side up, so this is the right side up, and this one is also the right side up, okay, or the front. So what you want to do is do a single crochet into this first corner of your next square. Okay, and then chain 1 and remove your hook. Okay, and then you want to go into this first chain 3 on this square, so not this one in the middle. So this is the one in between your two squares, not this one, but this first chain space of the square. So go into there and then pick up this loop that you dropped and chain 2. Oops. Okay, so you're going to not keep dropping your loop. So you're going to pull through this chain space and chain 2. Okay, and that locks those together. So we're going to have this, it's going to be chains locking in to these chains as we go down. Okay, so turn this around this way. So you want the new square facing you. Okay, So I have the backs together now. So what you're going to do is skip a stitch on this new square and then do a single crochet in the next stitch. Okay. Okay, now there will be a fair bit of removing your hook with this pattern, so just bear with it, and you'll have to find whatever way of holding it is more comfortable for you, whether you find it easier to have it laid on the table or holding it in your hand like so, or whichever way. You'll have to find your own way that's more comfortable. I still haven't found which way I find easiest or more comfortable for this, but you just have to kind of keep practicing, and by the end of doing, you know, 50 squares or something, you'll know what's more comfortable. Okay, so we are technically doing the same pattern of single crochet, chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. We're doing that, but we are linking with the loops, the chain loops that we made previously. Okay, so what we're going to do is chain 1 and then remove your hook, pop your hook into the chain, the next chain on the first square, pop your loop back on your hook, and then this is where you want to pull it through the chain space and then do 2 more chains, and that locks those chains together. Okay, and then you're going to skip a stitch on the second square and do a single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, remove your hook, pop your hook into the next chain of the first, loop on, pull through and do your next 2 chains, and then skip a stitch and do your single crochet on that second square. Okay, so then chain 1, remove your hook, pop it into the next chain space, loop on, pull through and chain 2. Skip a stitch and into the next one of the second square. So whenever I say we're doing a stitch, if I forget to say that it's the second square, you know that it is that second or top square. Okay, so I'll just show you this a couple more times because it's a little fiddly, I know. So chain 1, oops, remove your loop, your hook from the loop, go into the next chain space on this first square, pop the loop back on, pull through and then chain 2. Skip a stitch and go into the next one on this front square and do a single crochet. Okay, so if I open this out, you can just remove my hook. You can see how this is making like a braid along here, making this kind of braid. And it's all linked in together, looking lovely. Okay, so I'll show you that once more. So you're going to do your first chain, remove your hook, oops, don't drop your hook, go into the next chain space of the first square, pop your loop back on. I'm sure this gets faster the more you do it. Pull through that loop and then chain 2. Skip a stitch and do your next single crochet. Chain 1, remove your hook, go into the next chain space, pop the loop back on, pull through and chain 2. Skip a stitch and do your single crochet in the next. And you're going to do this all the way to the end. When you've done your first single crochet in this corner, then you can stop. So do a single crochet in this corner of your new square and then stop, and I'll join you back for the next step. Okay, when you've reached the corner of your this new square and you've done a single crochet, you are going to do a chain 1, and then as before remove your hook, and then you want to pop it into this chain 3 of the corner, remember this first square, we did a single crochet, chain 3 and a single crochet. In that corner you want to pop your hook into that chain 3 space and then take the loop back up, and then just as we've done all the way down here, you're going to pull that through and then chain 2. Okay, and then you're going to do a single crochet in this back into this new square corner. Okay, so this corner now has chain 3 and the 2 single crochets, and this is what it looks like so far. Looking lovely. Okay, so now we're going to work along this top edge of our second square, and you're going to work this top edge in exactly the same way that you did this first side or first and second side of this square. Okay, so the way you did this, so you're going to start now, you've got your corner has your single crochet, chain 3 and single crochet, so you're going to start with a chain 3, skip a stitch and then single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, do that all the way to the end. In this second corner you are going to do your single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3. Okay, you're going to work that all the way to the end, doing single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3 in that corner, and I will see you when I have that corner done. And there we go, this top side and corner are finished. So what you want to do now is you're going to, just as we did the first square, we did the top and then the side, you're going to do, we've done the top here, and then we're going to do the side of this second square. Okay, so you're going to do the side of the second square in exactly the same way. The only difference is when you get to the bottom corner, you're only going to do a single crochet. Don't do your chain 3 or any of that. Just do one single crochet into your bottom corner, whether it's the actual corner space or a stitch. Just do one single crochet into there and then stop. Okay, so I see you when I've done this side. Okay, there we go, both sides are done, and I finished with just a single crochet into this corner. Okay, now if I was going to be making a long strip, or if I was making a strip of anything more than these 2 squares, then I would bring in my next square to this side, and I would continue and join this in exactly the same way that I joined this second square to the first square. Okay, so just to remind you how to do that, you can rewind and find that part of the video, but just to remind you, is you want to do a single crochet into this first corner. So you've got your loop here, and you're going to take this square and make a single crochet into this first corner, into this way, sorry, from the front. Okay, make a single crochet, and then you are going to do a chain 1, remove your hook, pop your hook into this loop on this square here, and then you're going to do the chain 2 and then go into this skip a stitch, go into the next one, do a single crochet, chain 1, remove your hook, pop it into the next chain and do your chain 2, and then come back to do the next single crochet over here, and chain 1, remove your hook, pop it into the next chain, and so on. So you could continue joining your strips in that way. So you would join this side exactly as we did here, okay, by looping those chains together and making it more of a braided effect. And then once you've done that there, when you join these 2 together here, you would then continue and do your top edge here, and coming round to the side, do this side edge here. Okay, and then you could continue and add another square, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, until you have the length of strip that you wish to have. I'm only going to make a block of 4 here, just to show you how to join them together, 2 together, and then how to how you deal with having this center. Okay, so you might want to rewind the video and follow the instructions for how to join the next square, and then the next, the next, the next. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how you would continue once you've got to the end of your strip. So you can imagine that this has sort of, you know, this could have 6, 8, 10 squares in this row. I just happen to have 2. Okay, so what you're going to do is, this is the last square of the row. We're going to imagine this is the last square of the row. And what we're going to do there is, in this corner so far, all I've done is a single crochet. So what I'm going to do there now is, sorry, just confusing myself there. Easily done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the chain 3 and then the second single crochet in that corner, just so it's the same as all the other corners. Okay, and then I'm going to do this edge in exactly the same way as I've done the top edge. Okay, so this would work whether this is just your final square, or you're going to be joining another one here. Okay, so you want to do this edge of this square in exactly the same way as you did the top. When you get to this last corner of this square, I will join you back to show you how to go over this join here. Okay. Okay, so I've done my last single crochet chain 3, and now the next place is my corner. So I'm going to do a single crochet in that corner, and then a chain 3, and then I'm going to do a single crochet in this chain 3 loop that joins these 2 squares together. So see this chain 3 loop at the top here, do a single crochet in that loop, okay, and then chain 3, and then go across and do a single crochet in the corner of the next square. Okay, so it's single crochet in the first corner, in the first square, and then chain 3, single crochet in that chain loop across the middle, chain 3, and a single crochet in the next square corner. Okay, and then continue along the side in exactly the same way. And when you get to the last corner, you're going to do a single crochet and chain 3. So when you get to this corner, single crochet and chain 3. Okay, there we go. All done. Now don't worry about this side here, we'll finish this side at the end. Okay, you'll have, if you did strip, and then another, and then another, and then another, you would then do this edge all at the end. All of this side would be done at the end. Okay, and I will show you that afterwards. Okay, so now we're going to start the next strip, and I'm going to alternate my colours. So to join the next, or to start the next strip, what you're going to do is pretty much do it the same. If I turn this around, so we started here with this red square. I started with the red square, and then when I joined the blue square, we started in this corner and we worked up. Okay, so the thing for this one is we're going to do it in the same way, only this time it will be underneath the red rather than beside the red. Okay, be underneath instead of beside, but you'll do it in exactly the same way. In that, get your yarn, here we go. Okay, so here we finish with a single crochet and chain 3. So what we're going to do, okay, is take the next square and do a single crochet in that first corner. Okay, and then we can now move this around, ready to work these 2 sides together. Okay, just as we did here, we're going to work these 2 edges together. So we're going to do a chain 1, remove the hook, pop the hook into the first chain space of the last square, pop the loop back on, pull through and chain 2. Come back over, skip that stitch and do a single crochet. Chain 1, remove your hook, go into the next chain space, pop the loop on, pull through and do chain 2. Back over and do your single crochet, chain 1, remove the hook, into the next chain space, loop back on, pull through and chain 2, and continue along to the end of your square. And if you stop just before your last single crochet, then I will join you to show you what we're going to do in this corner. Okay, I finished this first side of my new square. It's all joined nicely, and I've done my last chain 2 of linking these loops with this side, and then we now need to do this last corner of this square. So go into that corner and do a single crochet and then chain 2, and then remove your hook, and then you will need a stitch marker or a piece of yarn or safety pin or something to mark a chain space, just so you can find it easily when you need it later. So we are going to be joining 3 corners together now. We've got, let's pull that loop off of it. Okay, so we've got 3 corners to join now. So if you look at these first 2 squares that we made, we have 2 chain spaces here. If I can zoom in a bit. Okay, so we have 1 chain space here and 1 chain space here. Okay, 1 on each square. Okay, so what we're going to do is skip this first one and pop a stitch marker on there so that we can find it when we come back to using it. It'll make it much more easily visible. So we're going to use this chain space here basically on the diagonal, so it's the one opposite diagonally to the square. This is the square we're on now, so we're going to do the one diagonally opposite. So you want this chain 3 here. So what we're going to do is, pop our hook into that chain space on that square that's diagonally across, pick up the loop and pull through, and then you're going to chain 2. Now I know we normally would do a chain 1 and then a chain 2, or a chain 2 then a chain 1. We're actually doing 2 and 2 because we've got a little further to go on this one. So then come back to the corner you were originally on this square that you were originally on, and do a single crochet in that corner. And there are your 3 corners joined together. Okay, 3 corners joined together. So you can probably guess what's going to happen with this one here. That's going to be used when we join our 4th square, which we're going to do very soon. Okay, so now we've got those 3 corners joined, we are going to work this next side of this 3rd square. Okay, so you're going to do that in exactly the same way that you've done for all your other sides, doing your chain 3, skip a stitch and then single crochet. And then when you get to the bottom corner, you are going to do a single crochet and chain 3. Okay, so when you've done your last single crochet, chain 3 in this bottom corner, I will be back. And there we go, there's that side done with my single crochet and chain 3 in that last corner. So now it's time to join the next square, and we're going to do that in the same way that we attached 2 together, by interlocking these chains. Okay, so exactly the same as before, go into the first corner of the new square and make a single crochet, and then you are going to chain 1, remove your hook and pop it into the first chain space of the last square. And you're going to continue in the way that you remember we did the other joins. Chain 2, come back over, skip a stitch and do your single crochet. Chain 1, remove the hook, pop it into the next chain space. Make sure you get the right chain space. Pull through and chain 2. Back over to do your single crochet. So continue this all the way up until your next stitch will be in the corner, and I'll join you to show you how we're going to deal with all 4 corners in the centre. So work this up this side, joining these 2 together, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, when you get to having your last corner left, I've done my last chain 2, and then I'm going to come over and do a single crochet in that corner. Okay, now this is where 4 corners are going to join. Okay, we've done 3 corners and now we're going to have 4 corners. So what we're going to do, we're going to do pretty much the same as we did for joining 3 corners, in that we're going to join the diagonals together. So we joined these 2 blues together diagonally, and we're going to join these 2 reds, and we're going to use this chain 3 space that we marked. Okay, and you can see, if you look closely at your work, you can see how that chain space could have got lost, and you wouldn't probably quite know which one to go into if we didn't have the stitch marker. So we are going to do the same as we did for those 2 squares before, and chain 2, drop the loop, pop your hook into this space that we've got marked, so this one here, pick up the loop, pull it through and chain 2, and then come back to your original corner and do a single crochet. And that is all 4 corners joined. We can remove this stitch marker now, and you are going to continue along this side in exactly the same way as you've just done before. You're going to chain 1, drop the loop, and then go into this first loop on the other side, and continue doing that braid join all the way to the end. Okay, and I will see you when I've done this side. And here we go. This is all 4 squares joined now. I've done my last corner here with just a single crochet, and we'll continue that in just a moment. So all 4 squares are joined now. You can see I've got my first corner done. So yeah, it's my first corner done, so that's pretty cool. So this is what one edge will look like. It will have this sort of almost like a frilly edge. Okay, so if you were making more in a row, just as I said on this one at the top here, if you were making a long strip, you would just continue to add another square along. So if you were doing this here, you would work this side and then you would continue adding squares along. But as this is the size that I'm doing, I'm not going to add any more squares along. Obviously you can if you like. So the only thing to do now is to finish this off, imagining that it could be much bigger. You could have more rows. You would just keep adding as I've done. If you were doing the join as you go, or the continuous join, sorry, so you were sort of you would be doing your strip along, and then you'd come down and do the next strip, and you'd join along like so. That is how you'd keep joining. You'd join and down and along and just keep joining. What I'm going to do now is finish this off. So you will finish this side the same way that we've done all the other sides. I've done a single crochet there so far, so you will do a chain 3 and a single crochet in that same corner, and then you'll do exactly the same all the way along as you have done in this corner here. Because it's the bottom corner for me, an outside corner, I'm going to do again single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, and then I'm going to work the same pattern along the bottom here, and then when I get to this middle, I'm going to do exactly as I did at the top here. Do you remember that if I turn this around, do you remember there's this chain 3 in the middle, and we're going to do a single crochet in here, and then we're going to do a chain 3 and then a single crochet in this chain, and then a chain 3 and a single crochet in this side, and then we're going to continue along, and then I will do the same in this corner and then work along this side, and this side also has a chain in the middle, so I'll do exactly the same there, and then up to this side. And now this first corner has single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, so all I'm going to do here is do my last single crochet in my stitch, chain 3, and then slip stitch into this first stitch, and that would be the end of my stitching. So if you had lots and lots of strips, then this side here would be the last side. You would work all the way up your last side, and as I said, I will put that diagram up on the screen so you can see exactly how this is worked if you're doing more than one square. So I'm going to finish this off, and then I will come back and show you the whole thing once it's finished. So it'll have this nice centerpiece, and then it'll have this nice sort of frilly edging. Okay, and I'll see you in a moment. And here we go. Here is my finished 4 squares, and I love this. It's so pretty. So pretty. If I bring it up close to the camera, hopefully you can see it a bit better. Beautiful. And this edging is really pretty as well. So, and it's surprisingly easy to get this result. I hope you've found my tutorial helpful. I hope you've managed to follow along with me, and yeah, I love it. So I hope that some of you have got some inspiration from this, and show us in the Facebook group how you've joined some of your squares or your projects. It does give a really nice finish to those projects. So if you have found this useful and helpful, then please, as always, click the like button and give us a thumbs up. It's really appreciated. And if you haven't already, then hit the subscribe button, and if you hit the bell as well, you will know as soon as we have a new video up. We do try to get the videos up about an hour before the patterns go up in the Facebook group, and there's a link below in that description box as well to the Facebook group. Yeah, I hope you found this useful and helpful, and until next time, just keep hooking and don't let your tea get cold.